Hello everyone, welcome back. I have another interesting Halo Wars video for you guys today, and I hope that this changes theory. So, here we go guys. I have an Anders build for you guys on repository, and it's not so much the build that's interesting, although it is a good build and it does allow you to match a cutter and be able to improvise and have a good economy. So I do think it's a pretty beast build. But it's more or less the theory we're going to be focusing on today, guys. So, and what I mean by that is, I'm going to tell you something very interesting. Because during the down period here, I have a little bit of time to explain this. Now, the point I want to get is, the UNSC breakdown is this. Cutter saves money on not getting Fortress, and he has upgraded base level. So when he double bases against an Anders, he has right off the start of the game a $700 advantage. One might say, well, it doesn't really matter because you don't really use the buildings until later. Oh, I'm sorry, you're down money. Yes, it does matter. So Cutter's ahead of the Anders. Now, if you're trying to go tanks as Anders, the reason people don't go tanks as Anders as much is because because they're behind this money, or they don't understand Anders as much. So they can't out-tank Cutter. Well, the answer is that's absolute bull. Okay? Anders can out-tank any leader. It's just a matter of what the map is and how you do it. Now, if you guys don't see the build, I don't know. I'm not talking about the build here, okay? You can watch the build, and this is a good build, but I'm talking about theory here, okay? So here it is. Cutter is the best at tanks, so everyone thinks, okay? Because he's ahead of all this money. You know what? Cutter's really good at tanks. And you know what? Cutter should go for tanks, and Cutter... Not every scenario, guys. Don't pick apart what I said there, but Cutter's very good at tanks, okay? Now, if you look at Forge... Forge has heavies and he has extra money. He doesn't have a particular upgrade that makes him any better because Grizzlies are worse than Power Turret. If you don't know that by now, guys, go check out Bazista's Mythbusters episodes. So, yeah. Okay, now, so Forge is a good tanker as well, but he needs a click to expand and takes a bit more time, and yeah, Forge is good, but what I will say is this. Anders, if she was to go Power Turret, let's say, right? She would save $200 on Canister Shell and $450 on Power Turret. $650. That's not even the equivalent of the $700 Cutter was ahead. Not to mention the fact that she has to upgrade Fortress twice and Cutter only has to do it once. So realistically, Anders is behind by even $1,100. So how can Anders get ahead? Here's the answer, guys. The more upgrades you do as Anders, the more your advantage will show. Now what I mean by that is, if you just get Canister Shell and you just get Power Turret, you're not going to be ahead of the Cutter, so why would you bother? So the point I'm going to try and get at is, guys, the key to the theory. Okay, and the reason I've always tried to stress this, because no one talks about this, is upgrades. Now you might say, oh, that's so simple, you know, upgrades, obviously they're half price. Well, I'm going to find a way to do with this build exactly what a Cutter can do. Literally, the exact same power a Cutter can do, only with extra heavies and a little something extra on top. I'm not going to tell you what it is right now, but anyways, guys, I hope you're paying attention. Now, where I'm putting the upgraded pads and the buildings is very important. But I can guarantee you one thing. If you're going to go tanks on this map, this is the way to do it. Reactor complete. So anyways, yeah, so I've got 6 heavy supply pads. I've got a double Fortress. Now, Anders rarely gets that. I mean, you're like, Smug, you're crazy. I mean, now this is a map where you should go Hogs and you should go Goss, but there are scenarios where Hogs are going to be useless on this map. And so, for that reason, this is how you would go tanks if you're going to go tanks, okay?
Vehicle depot complete.
Yeah, so... now, one thing about this map I don't feel I talk about much is defense is a very good thing on this map, okay? So, if he tries to do something crazy like a down tech push or an early attack or anything like that, it's going to fail if you see it coming and you prepare for it. Now, Anders, I feel, has become the cheapest leader now, and yeah, I actually mean that literally. She's very cheap. She has too many stacked things, like half upgrades, they upgrade faster. She's got, she can go Goss because, like I said, with the upgrade theory, she saves 125 on Gunner, 250 on Grenadier, 400 on Goss. That is more than the 700 deficit. Not only that, the quicker time of the upgrading, and then reserves is only 400. Like, that's why she's so good. And the other thing, she's got a cryo bomb. Now, I don't even want to tell you how many advantages a cryo bomb has, but let me put it this way: a Mac Blast has one purpose, to do damage. Carpet bomb, same thing. Now, cryo bomb can be used for many things, and I'm not going to get into that because that's not what this video is about. And she has gremlins, which can be built out of your main base, and they can stun. Which means you could stun Jack, you could stun, you could stun cryo stun. There's just, $200. I mean, it's ridiculous. They're one population. I mean, really? Anyways, guys, I hope you're understanding what I'm doing here. If you don't, well, you know, I'm splitting the reactors. You never want to put 3 or 4 on one base. It's just not a good idea. Now, remember something, guys. Don't just go for power turret here if they're pushing or something, okay? You'd build more tanks, but I'm just showing you for the sake of the build. If you'll notice, what I did was I upgraded. I'm about to upgrade power turret, but I also put up a field armory, guys. So I'm about to upgrade power turret here. Now I'm gonna sell 4th deck, build a tank, build a supply pad, and then I'm going to get reserves. That's right, guys. I got 6 heavy supply pads, double fortress, power turrets upgrading, 4th tanks building, and reserves. Wooka wooka what? That's right. Reserves. Cutter's not going to get reserves, costs way too much. He's going to struggle just to get the amount of tanks that I have already. Forge definitely isn't going to do it because I mean, it's possible, but he'd have very little tanks. And guys, I'm telling you right now, I have the economy to double plump. I'm going to have reserves, and I'm going to have just as many. Look at that. 8 minutes, 4 power turret tanks. That's 4 power turret tanks at 8 minutes. Reserves is almost done. I got 6 heavies and double fortress. That's how you say beast in 250 languages. I'm just saying. But anyways, guys, that's the theory. Okay, they're not going. You could upgrade cryo here. I would suggest upgrading your cryo bomb just before you sell that field armory, but I neglected to this build. But you have many options with this. Okay, so all I'm gonna say is, guys, make sure that you follow this theory. Okay, Anders needs to utilize upgrades, or there's no point in playing Anders. You can't just straight up try to go tanks and not even use upgrades. It's not going to work out well for you. So the great thing about this reserves idea when you're going tanks is you don't want to get reserves too early, because then you're going to be spending $500 or $1,000 quicker and quicker and quicker, and you'll have no money to get tech. So that being said, you get field reserves a little bit later, but the point is that you get it because you know they won't have it.
Supply pad upgrade.
That's a fact. And the fact that they don't have it means your defense is going to be twice as strong, and they'll never break you. And they'll make a stupid push because they think you're Anders and you can't go tanks and you can't stop them. They'll think that they'll just steamroll you, and then they got another thing coming, don't they? Because you're going to show them something different. You're going to be like, what? And if they kill your tanks, you rebuild them in 15 seconds flat. Done.
The enemy is making
Actually, it's 17 seconds. But anyway, you got reserves. You can repump quickly, and if you need gremlins in a pinch, reserves. Finish. Boom. That's how you do it. Anyways, guys, I hope that this has enlightened you, changed your idea and the ways you think about Anders, and I hope you enjoyed the build. I mean, I definitely spent a lot of time working on the build itself, but really the theory I've had in my pocket for a little while now. And if you need me to prove it some more with other builds and other ideas, I will prove it. Okay? And also, I'd just like to say, guys, the planogram I will be following next week. The open lobby is still Saturday, 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. And the planogram is going to be awesome because obviously Monday micro, Tuesday tutorial, Wednesday wars, Thursday theory, Fan Friday, and you know, I don't know what Saturday, Sunday is yet. But anyways, guys, I'd like to say please leave a like, please comment, rate, subscribe, tell your friends, and let me know if this build helped you or if you have any questions on the build. Anyways, great guys, have a great day. Goodbye. Smug Big Bird says, get good. This is how you do it, guys.